Energetic, passionate, and savvy. Gouche Live. Brought to you by the good people at the Hockey News and Sports Illustrated. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Gouche.
It is Gouche. It is Rosey. It's called the Gouche and Rosey Show. This is called the Overtime Show. And the reason is because we've left our last show about the NHL and everything that's going on around the world. We forgot to tell you.
We've been away for a while. Changed apartments a few times. Now we got a nice one out by the racetrack, and I got a little bit of a winter summer sore throat, and it sounds like I'm giving it to you too, a little Gooch.
It's coming on. Hey, listen, you know what I got right now? I've got my Shoot for a Cure shirt on. I have not used it for a while. I haven't been able to promote as much as I want. I want to do a shout out to Barry Monroe, our very good friend. Looking forward to getting back to Canada once we win the Goodall Cup. Okay, hopefully we win the Goodall Cup. But it looks really good right now at this moment as we're going into the playoffs. We've clinched the playoff spot. We got 3 games to go. Hopefully we can clinch that second spot where we get to go up against. We'll have a show all about this in the next couple of days, Paul. Let's stick to the facts. The facts are the Melbourne Ice. The Melbourne Ice are in the playoffs. And once you make the playoffs, we could be the St. Louis Blues, the Los Angeles Kings, Florida Panthers, who just recently won it. So who knows?
There is 2 teams though my memories is a little sketchy, Gooch. There's 2 teams in Melbourne, right? The Ice and the other one's the Mustangs.
The Mustangs, yes.
Are they're in the playoffs or no?
Why are you doing this to me? You could get me suspended. All right, moving on from there. Thank you very much for that. That was wonderful. Moving on from there, it's a beautiful sunny day here in Melbourne. We've had a great couple of weeks. We went to see the Great Ocean Road. I know you couldn't make it because there was a lot of walking. It was fantastic. But now we're down to business. Let's talk a little bit about the NHL. A lot of stuff has gone on since that Stanley Cup final where I thought our friends from Edmonton would come back and win that. Obviously, they didn't. It was a great final. Listen, when it was the 3-0 for Florida, you and I both said, this is over. And then I kind of said, you know what? Watch what McDavid and Draisaitl could do. They kind of carried him for game 4, game 5, game 6. They were okay, but it was game 7 where those 2 I think were just out of gas.
Yeah, and for the first time in a long time, anybody that follows me knows that whatever I pick, go the other way as fast as you can. I actually called Florida in 7 before it started.
You did.
I did. I have it all written down, Gooch. You know me. I write everything down. Can't read it, but I write it all down. But I called Florida in 7. Didn't think they were going to win in 7 after 3, but they did, and I'm going to take it that I finally have one right. What you drinking hot? You know what I just started drinking? Tony Meal, the great Tony Meal, your wife, and the person that the Winnipeg Jets, maybe next year, who keeps everything going down here in a straight line. She got me now drinking hot water and honey, and it's really helping my throat.
Boy, is that exciting. I can't wait to drink some of that. Hey, listen, let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the National Hockey League after the playoffs. You know, there were some free agency moves, there's drafts, there's all these things that have gone on. The awards, we have not had a show since all of that because we've been dealing with just keeping our Melbourne Ice team on the straight and narrow. We went through a 5-game losses in a row, and it kind of challenged us a little bit, but we're back. We beat
36 manned games out with suspension or injury.
Yeah. Must be the coaching. Got to get disciplined. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the NHL. I want to touch upon this one. We're going to skirt it. We're not going to go in the depth because we don't know all of it. There's a couple of stories that we don't know all the information because we're still trying to figure it all out. But Jeff Marek has been released by Sportsnet. I'm shocked. I love this guy. I know you know him. I know him. A true professional, like one of the best in the business. But it's still not come out. Why? Something around the draft. Your thoughts on that, Paul?
Yeah, this one baffles me because I've known Jeff Marek for a long time. I've done a show a few times. He is a genius, man. He is through everybody that's ever worked with him. This guy is an encyclopedia. You know, you talk about Ron McLean knowing stuff. Jeff Marek knows everything, and he's such a nice guy. You know, Unionville boy. Great guy. Him and Elliot Friedman do the 32 Thoughts, and then out of nowhere, we're down here. We don't get a lot of everybody out there. We do not get a lot of hockey content down here that we really want from the NHL, and that the odd time here and there. But when it came out, I was absolutely baffled because I know everybody loves him. I want to find out what's going on. I wanted to reach out and see, but I'm sure he's just been inundated with all kinds of requests and that. So I just, he's too good. He's going to land on his feet. It's going to be a miss for Sportsnet and all of that for sure, because he should have been the next guy running Hockey Night in Canada. What's going to happen with 32 Thoughts? There's talk that Elliot Friedman will do it on his own. I'm not sure. I just know that Jeff Marek is too good. He's too good a person, too good a broadcaster. He will land somewhere. He's just an incredible, incredible human being, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinion, Gooch.
Speaking of really incredible people, a guy I really have a lot of respect for over in Germany, our buddy Marty Williams. Great to see us, but great to see you following us. We haven't been doing many shows lately, Martin, as you know, being the head coach and assistant coach of a pro team. You got those ups and downs, so we took a little bit off. Both of us were laid up a little bit with sickness, but we are back. Yes, we are back, and going to be bringing you some pretty cool shows over the next couple of weeks. We're going to have a show just specifically on the AIHL and the finals that are coming up. Of course, we want to talk and explain to everybody how it works with the formats. 5 teams in each conference, 1, 2, 3 make it up. But we'll get into that a little bit deeper. We were just talking, obviously, about the situation that's going on in the National Hockey League. The Jeff Marek story. Love the guy. Hate to see him move on, but I'm sure he'll be back in the business. He's one of the best. And hopefully we get some more information about that. Another one that's kind of baffling is this protest. About 5 days ago, there's been this huge protest on Stan Bowman with the Edmonton Oilers. And there's a lot of speculation that there are people that are not happy with it. There's some articles that have been written. What a disgrace for the Edmonton Oilers. Not understanding this at all. We don't know all of the facts yet. Obviously, we know what happened with the situation in Chicago, how much he knew, how much he didn't know, but certainly interesting what's going on.
Yeah, what really bothers me, Gooch, and I know a lot of things bother me, is I like to, and you do too, we don't just like to talk out of the seat of our pants or just talk to talk. Talk if you know what's going on. Stan Bowman, obviously, the Scotty Bowman's son, great success in the NHL with a number of teams, but win a couple of cups, 3 cups actually in Chicago, done a lot of great things. Yes, the thing that happened in Chicago, the sexual assaulting, was horrendous, absolutely. But do you know, Gooch? Because I don't know exactly what happened. And we had some friends on that team. Brent Sobol was on our show many times. He was on that 2010 team. So I don't know the particulars. I don't know how much Stan Bowman knew. I don't know how much Joel Quenneville knew. I do know that the league, after suspending Stan Bowman for a number of years, and Joel Quenneville, have now given them a second chance to come back. Supposedly they've been rehabilitated. They've taken courses. They've done different things. That's what I've heard. And now he's ready to come back. In what world do we not give somebody another chance? I think Edmonton, you've got a brilliant hockey mind. Jeff Jackson's bringing in Stan Bowman there to help you win a Stanley Cup. Unless you know something that I don't or the general public doesn't, I think you should just do yourself a favor and keep your mouth shut. That's my opinion.
Hey, listen, I have to go to the cupboard and get a new cup. My cup is leaking. It's a thermal cup, and I've got water all over. I'll tell you what, this is kind of like the Winnipeg Jets defense last year, leaking.
The Winnipeg Jets cup is leaking. Now, I hope that's not a situation for next year, because the one thing that's definitely going to help the Winnipeg Jets is their incredible goaltender, Connor Hellebuyck, who will be, I know we're not going to talk about this right now, but he'll be one of the 2 goalies on the U.S. in this World Cup challenge that's coming up. We're going to talk about that next week once we get, I think, all the, what are you going now? Tim Hortons. Hey, anybody down in Australia that sees a Tim Hortons Cup, they're wondering, why is Tim Hortons not in Australia, Gooch?
They have these pop-up shops that, Jonah, I've heard, maybe somebody can correct us here, maybe Parker St. Clair jumps on and says, hey, good afternoon, gentlemen. Good to see you both back. What are your plans in the off season? Well, there's a great lead in. Maybe we should open up Tim Hortons here.
Tim Hortons.
Let's get going. Hey, Corey Katina saying hello. Our analytical specialist for the Melbourne Ice. Thanks for the report today. We certainly will be using that information. The fact is that I don't really know. Burger King had bought it. I don't know if you remember that. Burger King bought, and then Wendy's was involved. Like, there were so many people involved. Yeah. I don't know who owns what. So I'm confused and not understanding what the situation at Starbucks is down here. Tim Hortons, obviously being a lighter type of coffee, you know, I love it. I have a lot of problems. I love the Melbourne coffee. It's fantastic. But as you know, I got to put this much milk in it. Only 2 shots in a 3-shot cup because it's way too strong for the Gooch. But hey, we don't want to get enemies. We love Melbourne coffee, right?
Well, I don't like coffee, but we love Melbourne.
All right. Hey, what about a new brand, the Melbourne Iced Coffee?
Oh, that would be cool.
That's a good one.
That would be cool. Yeah.
That's what we're going to be working on, Parker.
On the cup, we put a picture of the good old cup.
There you go. Now we got to get there. All right, so let's end up on the Stan Bowman thing. I think you're right. Everybody does deserve a second chance. We don't know all the facts. There's a lot. I was just looking on it because I wanted to follow it up a little bit and try to determine, because I saw it this morning that there was this big, huge petition being set up. So that's why I looked there. Talk about second chances. We know there are people that have had issues that have come back. Any thoughts on who else? Excuse me, 1 second.
I'm sorry. I'm giving the Gooch a bit of my winter summer cold down here, in which we.
I'm
You
back.
got to remember too, we're everybody back home. It's 14 to 16-hour different time change. We're running around. We're still doing work back home. Not that we love it here, man. It is beautiful. It's winter and it's sunny out here. Okay, we don't have sunny winters in Toronto, but it does tend to get crazy days down here. So Gooch is burning the candle at both ends.
You got it, and really excited about Parker St. Clair joining us and saying hello. We will be doing a special interview, Gooch one-on-one with Parker over at the Urban Alley this Friday, I'm told. Don't know when it's going to be released. Don't know if it's going to be live. But Parker, along with James, has come up with this great concept of interviewing the Gooch for some reason. I guess I may have a story that they'd love to hear about. And, of course, Paul, you'll be heavily involved in it. Let's talk now about the NHL and as things are going forward. What are teams thinking right now? Obviously, they're wanting to get those final little pieces put in place before training camp comes up. Obviously, we're training camp. It's only the beginning of August, but they get started, roughly the first week of October, if I'm not mistaken. And what's really important for people to understand, players, it's no longer this take the summer off and jump in and get in shape. They're 24/7.
Yeah, and this is the problem that a lot of general public don't understand. Like when the Hawks won their back-to-back cups, and now Florida winning the cup. So it didn't end for Florida and Edmonton till the last week of June. Then you have the awards. Then you have the draft. Then you get a couple of weeks off in July. A lot of guys get married in the summer. You go for the people watching on the internet. Oh, this guy's getting married. Hockey players don't get married in the winter. They get married in the summer. And then they start training again because training camp opens in September. The league starts in October. So Realistically, you only have about 2 months, unless you didn't make the playoffs, and then you're very hungry when the season ends in April to get yourself going. But a team like Florida and Edmonton, you've got some veteran guys that are going to be exhausted. Next year, obviously, the Florida Panthers want to do something that hasn't been done in a long time, win back-to-back cups. I think they got a real good team. I think some of the teams have made some great changes. I love the fact that that we're going to see what happens in Utah with the Arizona Coyotes going over to Utah. Have we even heard what Utah's final name is yet? I don't think
I thought it was Yeti.
Is it the
Again,
Yetis?
we've been a little bit off. Hey, and Stamkos in Nashville, that's going to be, and Marshall,
You know what?
that's going to be unbelievable.
I'm telling you, if you're in Nashville as a Blackhawk fan, I'm ready. Like, what are we going to do? We're ready, like rebuilding. Now you got Nashville in that division. The Nashville Predators. If you're a Nashville Predator fan, you better get yourself your playoff tickets, man, because this team is going to be a good team.
I saw a Nashville Predators jersey at our last game. It was a beautiful gold colored one. Hey, Parker's saying, yes, stay tuned for that deep dive interview. Sorry, Parks.
He's got a great voice. I love Parker's voice.
He's unbelievable. He's got a radio voice.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Corey's saying it's just Utah Hockey Club. That's ingenious.
Yeah, they haven't, but they're going to have a name. They have to have a name. They can't do it like the women's league.
Hey, listen, Corey, you do all the analyticals for the Gouche and Rosey show for the Melbourne Ice. Come up with that. Is this it? Is that it? So it's going to be UHC on the front of their jersey? Wow, boring. Boring.
No, can't be. It's just they got to figure something out.
Hey, on a positive note, our assistant coach, mentor coach, Brent Laver last night wearing his Calgary Flames hat.
Oh, yes.
Talk to me about that facility that they've just posted on the internet. That I don't know if you've been to the new Edmonton Oiler. Okay, it's not new. It's been around for a while.
Not that long.
Yeah.
5, 6, 7 years?
Yeah.
10 years?
Yeah, maybe. Not 100% sure. But you know what? Matt, Mr. Best, Lyle Best, got me to come there when it opened and in Edmonton, and everything's marble. He had a suite, and it was like, honestly, being I can't even, like a 5-star hotel. His suite was just absolutely gorgeous. Everything was marble, everything leather. Obviously, it's older in time now, but that Calgary one, wow.
Yeah, the pictures that I've seen so far, Calgary deserves it. That Saddle Dome has been around a long time. We used to train the para team at the Saddle Dome the odd time, and at Northern Coliseum, Northlands Coliseum, pardon me, in Edmonton before they changed. Yeah, Northlands Coliseum. That was not a great building. But I'll tell you one thing: if they get to pull it off in Calgary, like these pictures and these renderings that I've seen, how do you like some of the big words I'm using, Gooch, today?
You are watching CNN over here. I saw that.
Yeah, I am watching a lot of TV. Anyways, I think it's going to be world class, and Calgary fans deserve it. Maybe then they'll spend some money to get a team.
They're not far off. I think they're coming back. I think here's a picture. I wish I could have got this up for everybody, but no, I don't have a picture. I'll get it up in the next couple of days. But just looking at it, it is outstanding. They think it's going to be completed for the 2026-2027 season. The project is right now looking at $1.2 billion. A lot of oil that needs to be pumped out of the ground. 18,000 to 18,400 seats. Man, the building to be ready for the 27-28 season. So, wow, a lot
And then
to be done.
They knock the Saddle Dome down and build a condo?
No, a parking lot. Hey, Martin Hardigan, hope you have plenty of tape for all the Gooch stories.
You couldn't have.
Use tape?
There's not a chance. There isn't enough tape out there for the Gooch stories.
But do they actually use tape? I thought it was all digital now.
Yeah, it is. That's just we're just talking tape, old school. Matt's probably an old school guy like us.
Sounds like it. Hey, listen, talk to me about any of the surprises you've seen around the National Hockey League. Obviously, there's great stories about teams like we just talked about the Stamkos thing. I'm really excited. I thought I had a feeling he may go back to Toronto. I thought he was going to go to Toronto. I honestly thought that was going to be a sweetheart story.
I think that the Tampa Bay or Tampa Lightning insulted him with their offer. I thought he might be one of those guys, like a Stevie Y who play his whole career in Tampa. I think the last possible guy that will do it, Gooch, is, I hate to say it, will be Sidney Crosby, the last superstar type of player that will play his entire career with one club. Will be Sidney in Pittsburgh. I think we've seen it with Patrick Kane leaving and going to the Rangers and going to Detroit. I don't know. I can't see. Can you see another superstar? Can you see Connor McDavid spending his whole career in Edmonton?
Nope.
I can't.
Nope. I agree. I think Sidney just a class act that will stay in Pittsburgh and be there. I see him probably ending up getting involved in the management or something with that organization. He is just too big an iconic figure not to be involved with the Pittsburgh Penguins. I love that part of it. Anybody else? Anything else that kind of caught your eye over the last 3 weeks where we haven't had a show, something that pops up?
I'm surprised in Toronto, to be honest with you. I'm surprised that they're going to go with Wall and the backup. I can't pronounce his name. I don't want to butcher it. The backup that was in Florida.
Yeah, not going there.
Who can probably help us, Stolz or whatever. I thought that they would go out and pick up. Now, hey, Toronto fans, don't go nuts and start sending me stuff. He might work out. Wall. He played pretty good, but he got hurt a lot. Are you, if the Leafs are your team, Gooch, and they're not my team, but are you happy with Walls being your number one guy?
No, you know what really amazes me about the Toronto Maple Leafs organization, they always go through the scuttlebutt. Scuttlebutt Lodge, remember that one, the Red Fisher?
Yeah. Red Green.
Way over your guys' heads. Some of you people that are at the age of 60. I'm absolutely shocked at an organization as good as the Toronto Maple Leafs are. We had a chat about it the other night. I asked a couple of people, have you ever saw All or Nothing with about the All Blacks? A great show. Got to watch it. It's fantastic. And then I asked about the All or Nothing. I think it was called All or Nothing for the Toronto Maple Leafs, so I'm not mistaken. With Campbell. The story about him, being upset and crying the odd time and the head coach yelling, screaming, swearing, stuff like that. I'm just shocked that this organization can't get a bona fide Fleury, Vasilevsky, Shesterkin, hey, Patrick Roy, just to throw a couple names out, that they can't get the Berlin Wall standing in net again, that'll allow them to not have to be always worried about goaltending, because goaltending was a problem last year. It was a problem the year before. And yes, Wall is a good up and come, but do they not need a foundational goalie? Somebody that just says, that's the rock in net. We don't have to worry about that. Now let's concentrate on defense. Just like what's happened with us here in Melbourne, having Tatsu. We know he's a very good goaltender. We know that Tommy Forrest is a young guy that's coming up. We can buy time with him to allow him to become the goaltender he can be. But Tatsu just is that rock. Why can't the Toronto Maple Leafs do that? I want to hear that from the one and only Paul Rose.
Well, you know what, Gooch? I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. They've had great goalies over the year. Eddie Belfour played here, and Curtis Joseph played here. Grant Fuhr played here. There were some great goaltenders over. You want to go back to Johnny Bauer and Terry Sawchuk when we were young kids. But I just don't get it. We haven't had in Toronto, I don't say we because I'm not a Toronto Maple Leaf fan. I've lived in Toronto my entire life. Toronto does not have a Thatcher Demko, Connor Hellebuck. I just don't get why management doesn't look into why they've got enough talent there, enough pieces to actually use them to get something big. To me, it just doesn't make sense why you do not build, and they have not built from the back end out. The Florida Panthers, a huge part of their Stanley Cup win was Sergei Bobrovsky. Yeah, he had a couple of bad games in the final, but if you go back and watch their entire run of the playoffs, if he maybe have game 4, game 5, a little better game, he might have got the Conn Smythe Trophy instead of Connor McDavid. Now, Connor McDavid is world class. There's no doubt about it. He deserved the Conn Smythe Trophy. But you have to, Coach, you've coached, you've played, you've been a GM. You have to build from the back end out. And you mentioned it with our Melbourne Ice. As good as our team is, if Tatsu Yoshida isn't our goalie, we're in serious trouble. And you look at the teams like the Melbourne Mustangs and Perth Thunder that we just played, world-class goalies they have, and that you have to start. So, I would say, and I don't need to give Brendan Shanahan advice. He's been around this league a long time.
I think you do.
Well, maybe I do. When are you going to finally do that? And, the Matthews and Marners and Nylanders, and now you got Nylander's brother who, come on, drafted by the Buffalo Sabres 1,000 years ago, played with my Chicago Blackhawks. He played with probably 6 or 7 teams. He's average at best. And now the whole talk is the Nylander brothers are back. Oh, my God, what are you doing? What's your thoughts on that? This guy's average at best.
2 points. One, you said Vasilevsky had a bad night.
No,
not Vasilevsky. Sorry, wrong goaltender. I think I could have scored on him on that night.
That was a bad night.
No, I could have.
Yeah.
In warm-up.
As long as it was a backhand, though.
You know what's crazy is I shaved this morning. I can't believe as you age, all those cuts and scratches become bigger and bigger. Look at this thing right here. Holy, looks like a Great Wall of China, for God's sakes. I'm not quite as pretty as I used to be. Hey, listen, congratulations on the finals, fella. Andrew McDougall, you are one of my favorite. I'll tell you what, you're going to hear a pretty candid interview because Parker St. Clair wants to interview me and talk about the craziness of the Gouche life. Because there's a lot of people that, well, because you've been around for most of it, don't really know what I do and what I've done and what's still to come. And so Parker just is this one of these guys. He's such a personable dude. And he just said, hey, Gouche, I really want to know about you. Could we do it for the fans? Well, I know there's some people that are going to like me, and that's the way it goes. But, I'm excited about talking about that stuff. And so I've met a lot of people along my way, as have you. But Andrew McDougall, I got to say, one class act. We love you, and thank you for all the support.
I agree.
Going to the next kid, Corey Katina, we love him just as much. Well, maybe not quite as much, being a Minnesota Wild fan. Their problem is they can't develop one, and they keep using the revolving door. That's very similar to the NHL is one of those. They just keep turning out the past. In goaltending, we see that, but more importantly, in coaches, there's no fresh, there's no new, we always have to look, and that's a very good point. They have not developed from the back end. Talk to me a little bit about, Jamie Maguire, worked with Michael Hutchison and many other goaltenders of the past in the NHL. Is that true? And the reason why I asked that question, and then we're going to do a very special, we only got a couple minutes. We got to go into the Rosie's rant. I'm going to leave it with you on this. We're going into this World Cup, the World Challenge. I can't remember what it's called. And we look at the goaltenders they've just announced. Binnington is not on that list. You're going to talk a little bit about it. Maybe we just don't have that pool of goaltenders in the Canadian market anymore, and the Toronto Maple Leafs have not been able to develop it. I'd love to hear your perspective on that.
Yeah, Gooch, Canada used to dominate in goaltenders in the Quebec League. That the three leagues, the OHL, the W, and the Q. The OHL had a lot of skilled players. The W had the big tough players, and the Q had the goal scorers and the goalies. And we just haven't had that in quite a while since Carey Price retired and some of the really solid Canadian goalies. I hope we get it back. Obviously, and we know the Carter Hart situation. He more than likely will never play again, and if he does, it's going to be in a long time. But you have Binnington. I still like Binnington, but I saw the report that Canada is going with Hill and Skinner, two good backup goalies. I personally don't think they're number ones, especially number ones in a tournament like this. the U.S. will have Thatcher Demko and Collar Halibut. The Russians were not sure. They're not going to be in this tournament, but in the Olympics, can you imagine the goaltenders they have? Even Finland and Sweden. That's what I hear this tournament is, just 4 teams, like a 4 Nations Cup, Canada, U.S., Finland, and Sweden. But the goaltenders that are around the world, the Russians, if they had to right now pick 2 goalies, I don't know if you could do it. You know, Shishkin, Bobrovsky, Vasilevsky. Oh my God, there's how many more? You could go through 5-6 teams that have incredible. Yeah, in the Ireland.
Yeah.
I don't know. Right now, I would take Bobrovsky and Shishkin. I wouldn't even take Vasilevsky. I don't know. It's crazy. The Canadian. We have to get back to our grassroots in goaltending because we don't have a lot of great goaltending. Now, listen, we're going to go to the Olympics. Forget the 4 Nations Cup. We're going to go to the Olympics in Italy in 2026. It's already been announced. Even if Skinner and Hill or Binnington are our goalies, you know, our number 1 line could be Berard, McDavid, and Crosby. But we still have McKinnon and Makar, and oh my God, Canada's going to put together a hell of a team. Yeah. It's just I wish we had that Carey Price still in the system.
We don't. And listen, we're getting short in time. I just want to say hello back to my good friend Pascal out of Greyfrath. If you don't know it already, I've been invited back into a celebrity game to help diversity. Martin Hoon is a guy that does so much for it. Really love this guy. I've been invited back to play in a charity game to help, obviously, with inclusion. Really excited about that. What's good about that is that I'll be able to go back and watch or play with some of the guys. We won a German championship in 1994 with the Greyfrath Panthers. We just lost our buddy Benji just a couple of weeks or months ago. It's going to be a great time. So I wanted to say a big shout out to Pascal.
Gouche, do they know that you're 65 though? No contact.
No, full contact.
Nobody's going to hit you.
No, it's full contact in the bar. Hey, and Corey, I did say Sorokin, didn't I? Did I say Sorokin?
You did, yeah. I said Sorokin.
Right. Hey, Andrew, it's a big season for Ottawa. Bradley Tkachuk wants to play in the finals.
Brady.
I know, I'm calling Bradley. It says Brad here, for God's sake.
Yeah.
So I'm just watch his brother lift the cup. I don't disagree. He could be a piece that's moved eventually. I know it'd be tough, but I don't see this Ottawa Senators team ending up being in a final in a very long time.
Hey, listen, they got a great goal. They picked up the goalie from Boston. I liked them.
Yeah, well, let's see. Them. Hey, Charlene talking about goalies. Hey, feel better, guys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this was a quick one. I know we talked a little bit about the NHL. We talked a little bit about the AIHL and the Melbourne Ice going to the finals. Over the next couple of weeks, we will be more active. We've got a little bit more time now that we've got our team poised to go into the finals. So we just want to say, stick with us. The Gouche and Rosey Show will be coming live to you lots more than it has over the last couple of months, just for the simple fact that we are old, 64, 65. Sometimes we need our sleep. Ladies and gentlemen, talking about sleep, listen to this one.
Hey, haven't done a Rosie's rant in a while, and obviously you haven't worked the board in a while. Okay, so listen, this is my rant, and I am so passionate for Olympic and Paralympic sport. We've been watching it. It's crazy because we're watching it at 2:33 in the morning. That's why we haven't slept great. But my rant right now is, when are IOC, the Olympic Committee, the Paralympic Committee, when are we going to step up for our athletes and understand that bad things happen and cheating happens, okay? But when athletes get put into the mix, like this Canadian soccer team who was incredible, won the gold medal in Tokyo in 2020, and now they're trying to defend. And yes, what happened was terrible. Their coaches and whoever in management with the drone and that absolute nonsense. But why are we penalizing the players. 6 points. Do you know how hard that is going to be to end up making the next round, to be deducted 6 points? To me, that is an absolute sham. It's a disgrace. It's a travesty. Whatever word you want to use, IOC, all the governing bodies in soccer, FIFA, whoever's in charge and taking those 6 points, you should be ashamed of yourself. Players should not have to pay the price for management or for a board or an NSO that does wrong. This is absolutely ridiculous. I understand with a penalty, 6 points makes it almost impossible. I say all Canadians get behind the women's soccer team. Let's make it into that quarterfinal. Let's win that gold medal, and let's shove it up everybody's face. That's it for me.
Sorry, that was a great rant, but shove it up their face.
Well, I wanted to say something else, but I didn't want to get canceled.
Hey, talking about leaving it on a high, Summer McIntosh. She blew the field out. She's only 17 years old. She's got a gold and a silver. We are so proud to be Canadian. Hey, we're also so proud to be down here in Australia. They're kicking face down in Paris. So congratulations to all the athletes so far. There's lots more to come. And, of course, lots more. The Gouche and Rosey show, and a couple more cool rants coming up with BC Your Best, the Rosey Meister.
You've been listening to Gouche Live with your host, Kerry Goulet, better known as The Gouche, brought to you by the Hockey News and Sports Illustrated.